This week on Previous World Weekly, it's Boba Fett versus everybody. We discuss WandaVision, and we're joined by special guest cosplay model Rachel Hollon. It's all happening right now on Previous World Weekly.
What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. Ashton, could you not flash gang signs on our show? Thank you very much.
The moment I did that, I was like, one of these days we're going to get through an intro without me derailing it.
No, you know what? It's fine. It's the same intro every week. So any way we can mix it up is totally fine with me. But it would be nice if I should introduce myself. I'm Troy Jeffrey Allen, and hanging out with me this week,
I'm Ashton Greenwood, aka the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day, coming at you with your weekly reminder. Free Comic Book Day is happening this year, August 14th, not first Saturday in May, August 14th at your local comic shop.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, Ashton.
Hey, Troy.
Let's talk about Gina Carano for the next 40 minutes.
Ooh.
No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that at all. I'm tired. I'm already tired of that conversation. So we're just going to jump ahead. We're just going to act like none of that ever happened. And instead, we're going to focus on the positive. For example, we have a special guest this week, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
ladies and gentlemen, say hi to Rachel Hollon, cosplay extraordinaire. What's up, Rachel? Uh-oh. Are you? Is anybody getting her?
No, I can't hear her.
Oh, no. We lost audio. We just had her, too. What happened? Uh-oh, no. What's going on? Oh, Rachel, you might have to do something with your audio situation and maybe check with and Johnny. Yeah, I'm not sure what. Or Johnny, can you, or maybe Johnny can fix something in the on his end.
Johnny, help.
Jump in there, Johnny. Wait, hold on. Say it again.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. You're a little low, but we can hear you now, so that works. Oh, no. And now you're gone again. No. This is great. It was going so well before we started.
I can hear her. Can you hear her, Troy?
I think it is on your guys' end because something just popped up that said the host has unmuted your mic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Johnny had you muted.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Rude.
I won't be tamed. I won't be silenced.
How dare you, Johnny? You're just silencing our guests already. Okay. All right. So everything's squared away. Let's just act like the last minute did not happen. It's live. That's the beauty of doing things live, whatever. But Rachel, you are known for, you're known for your cosplay, and for our purposes, if our audience is at home, if Rachel looks familiar, it's because she's done a bunch of Dynamite covers. Particularly, she has an impressive resume. She's done Red Sonja, she has done Vampirella, and then this week, she's doing Deja Thoris on the cover of Dynamite #5. So welcome aboard. Welcome to the show, Rachel.
Oh, thank you so much. So excited to be here.
And you're doing kind of like a soft Harley Quinn thing today. Is that what we're doing here?
Very soft, very soft. Harley's my favorite, and she's how obviously I've got like an ashy color going on instead of the bright, bubbly blonde. But Harley's actually how I initially got into cosplay and got into this whole world. So, got to show her some love.
Got to take it back to the beginning. Okay, cool. Respect.
Plus,
So
I had the COVID hair,
yeah, that's a real thing. No,
like,
I think Ashton and I will both tell you we love to put a hat on it when things aren't working out.
Yeah, I was like this close to just throwing a beanie on because I've got tons of Harley hats and beanies too, and I was like, I ran out of time first off, but
there you go.
But I was like, oh, the hat, the beanie. I might be playing with the whole time. I'm such a fidget monster, but here I am playing with the hair instead. So
that's okay. All right. We should probably mix it up. Like, I think COVID hair is the thing for everybody. So I'm thinking we should come on with a cowboy hat,
like a Santa hat in June.
Yeah, right. We're going to start mixing it up. You guys don't know what we're going to do on this show. That's the beauty of it being live. So let's see what happens. Rachel, a little birdie told me, and by a little birdie, I meant that you told me an email that you're looking forward to WandaVision this Friday. You've been playing catch up on it. You're all caught up on it.
Oh my gosh, I'm all caught up on it. I'm so excited. I'm so stoked. I don't want to spoil anything for any of the viewers who haven't seen it. I'm just like, everything, just each episode keeps getting better and better. Like the first episode, I was like, okay. I wasn't sure what to think. I was excited for it. I was like intrigued, but I wasn't like obsessed. But each episode, it just like keeps drawing me in more and more. It's so crazy right now. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's getting real. It's getting super exciting. And I also cosplay her. And
Nice.
so I've only, I think, released one edit. And I hope to be releasing another one on Thursday to hype everyone up for the show. So.
All right, nice. So keep an eye on that. And just for the record, we're going to hit it again later in the show, but where can people find you?
You can find me at Faces by Rachie on Instagram. I'm also Faces by Rachie on TikTok, and I also have my Disney page now, Disney by Rachie.
All right, cool. Crossing all the genres, checking all the boxes, all the nerd boxes.
Yeah, for the girl who loves everything. That can't decide if she loves to be a Disney princess or a vampire princess, or I'm like, I love zombies and vampires and all the majestic unicorns and fairy princesses, all the things. So it's hard because instead of investing all your money, time, and effort into like one genre, you're like kind of torn across the board.
I mean, well, it's a good thing you cosplay because you can at least tackle each and every one of them. That's for sure. Yeah. So you're in the camp. We had a guest on last week named DJ, who was incendiary the entire episode. But one of the things he did say that I didn't think was that much of a stretch, and it sounds like you're in the same camp, is that WandaVision kind of started off a little slow. Yeah. And then it finally kind of got to the point where you're like, okay, now this is starting to click. So you're definitely in that camp.
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't not like the first episode, but I was like, I had such big, crazy expectations, and I was kind of like not sure what to think of the first episode. But, you can tell they have some crazy thing that they're going to roll out. So you're like, okay, I'm excited to see where they take this.
Right.
But then, by the third episode, you're like, oh, okay. And then, like, last week's episode obviously blew everybody's mind. So
absolutely.
I'm like sitting on the edge of my seat. Friday can't come soon enough. I'm stoked for it.
Yeah. I'm hoping for a good payoff. I know that our very own production manager Johnny Rose has a Mephisto fan theory, which I actually think is pretty solid. This idea that Mephisto is behind everything. Like there's been some nods to the devil and quite a bit of some WandaVision scenes thus far, but you want to share?
I think the entire internet at this point has some kind of Mephisto theory, and in fact, I was like going through the old internets, and like I saw a couple memes that kind of sum up what everyone's theories are on Mephisto. I just want to share those real quick. So, WandaVision fans, any character, is this Mephisto?
Accurate.
Also, I found this one. So, homemaker Dottie, Mephisto, the crane from the bedroom, Mephisto, Senor Sparky, Mephisto, Director Haywood, Mephisto, Pietro, Mephisto. Like everyone wants Mephisto to show up. So, and then also, this one, it was just funny. I thought since Kat Dennings' character Dorothy Lewis got sucked into the Hex.
Yeah.
On the next episode of WandaVision, I want to see her appear as some format of her character from Two Broke Girls. I would love to see that. Considering that was on a CBS show, I don't think that's going to happen. Right. But I still think that would be funny.
Disney doesn't own them yet? I thought I
give it a couple hours. They'll probably own them. So
by Friday, it's a done deal.
It's a done deal. The whole thing will be sealed. Rachel actually pointed out something that I actually noticed too. In retrospect, I don't think it's all that. I don't think it was intentional, but maybe it was too. The repeated use of the word "kick-ass" on the most recent episode, which is funny because was Aaron Taylor Johnson, and I forget the guy who played Quicksilver in Age of Ultron.
Evan Peters.
Yeah, and Evan Peters, who also played Quicksilver in the X-Men movies, both were in the Kick-Ass movie, which I thought was kind of like. At first, I was like, "Oh, that's an Easter egg," but I was like, "That might not be an Easter egg." The way that it was presented, I'm not sure. But either way, what a weird coincidence, right?
That's not really an Easter egg. That's something that they blatantly outright said. I mean, it wasn't like a little nod, not a nod to something that's in the background or something like that. It's like,
but it was like the way that it was presented, I guess, because I think one of the kids said "kick ass." And like Quicksilver ran off with one of the kids after they said that, and then Wanda just kind of like lingered, like "kick ass." So I don't know. Maybe it was intentional. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
I'm sure.
But I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Nothing that the MCU does is by accident.
This is very true. That is absolutely
Yeah.
true.
There is a grand scheme to everything. So,
Yeah.
one other thing I just want to point out that popped up on my radar in the last couple of days, Funko announced that they're going to be releasing a Pietro Maximoff Funko Pop.
Oh, nice.
But it's interesting to see how they phrased it. Like all the other Funko Pops that have come out of WandaVision say Wanda Maximoff or the Vision. This one says Pietro Maximoff in quotes. So showing that it may not be exactly Pietro himself. Like it's just quotes Pietro Maximoff. So
are we going to get another Baby Yoda situation where everyone's like he's the child, but we call him Baby Yoda, but then it turns out his name is Grogu?
We're all just calling him different things and no one knows what anyone's talking about. Like,
now they have to
do it again.
They have to retcon all that merchandise and like reprint it as Grogu now. But I mean, a lot of people were saying Mephisto is going to be the big bad villain. Some people were saying Nightmare. Personally, I think that this is the big villain of WandaVision. This screen.
You know what? I'm a co-sign that because every episode ends with it. It's like, damn it, another week.
So. But I'm with Rachel. I love the show. I think, you know, a lot of people didn't really want to stick with it at first because of the black and white format and they didn't know what was happening. But it's like you gotta remember how to watch TV on an episodic level. Like just give it time. If you stick with it, you will find out what's happening. Yeah, no, it's funny you bring that up because streaming I think has made us all forget how to just watch a weekly TV show. Speaking no. Actually, speaking of weekly, do you watch Riverdale at all, Rachel?
Oh my God. So I am behind on Riverdale, but I love Riverdale and I have a cute little Riverdale cheer dress. I think I love all of the characters. I love, as far as I watched it, I don't even know how far I watched it till it's been a minute. I'd love to catch up. I'm just so behind on literally everything from working so much that I'm like, if I had just like, you know, when you get sick and you just like binge watch everything, you catch up. I need a good binge. I don't need to get sick.
Yeah. Be careful saying that. Be careful saying that in 2021.
I need a good break where I can like catch up and watch all my favorite shows. Gotham was like that too. I watched like almost all of Gotham and then I just kind of like fell off because I got really busy and I never caught up because, you know, a new show came out and you only have this much time and you're like, where do I But I do love Riverdale and I every time I see or hear anything about it, I'm like, oh God, I really got to catch up on that because I know a lot has happened.
So I don't know, are you okay if we spoil something for you?
Do it, because I mean, it's gonna be a minute before I can catch up anyway. Okay. So go for it.
So Ashton is really big on Riverdale, so I'm gonna let her explain this because she wanted to talk about this really badly.
I do. I have enough opinions for the three of us because this mess is wild. Okay, so last night it's the 5th episode in the 5th season, but it was supposed to be the first episode of season 5, but because their filming got disrupted because of COVID, it ended up this way. So there is a 7-year time jump. So they graduate high school, 7-year time jump. So now they're all in their mid-20s, about 25. And it is a goddamn mess, let me tell you that. So it starts with Archie, who's waking up in a hospital, and he's a sergeant in the army, and he's injured because of some war that's happening, although they never tell you like who we're fighting or what the war's about. They're just generically at war. And this is America, and we're like fighting somebody in like 1940s style army clothing. So that happens. He goes back to Riverdale and he finds Tony there, Tony Topaz. She's pregnant, which makes sense because the actress is pregnant in real life. So I like that they played into that.
Okay.
And so then she basically from there walks you through what all of the other like core characters are doing. So like Betty's an FBI agent because of course she is obsessed with murder and she's had some traumatic experience where she's been kidnapped for 2 weeks by a serial killer called the Trash Bag Killer because why would it be called anything else? Then there's Veronica, who's married to this white square. His name's Chad, and you just hate him on sight. He's awful.
Oh no.
And then there's Jughead, who was a bestseller author, but is now just like incredibly insufferable and full of himself and in a toxic relationship in New York. And all of these people have had like weird near-death experiences. And then there's Cheryl, who never left Riverdale, but is now a master painting forger. Like she forges paintings. Not sure where that's going. I don't even know, like this whole thing is a disaster. It's off the rails. But if you wanted to restart watching it right now, you could do it without having watched any of the previous episodes. Like you could just jump on because the time jump kind of makes for like a nice reboot.
You think
I'm
they're gonna
wondering if
stick
I
with
missed anything. It's such a mess. It is so campy. I love it. It made no sense at all. I was like, this is what I'm here for. Veronica's mom is like a real housewife, and the ghoulies are living in like the drug gang is living in Archie Andrews' old house for no reason. Oh God. And Hiram is like completely gutting Riverdale to finance his master plan to build a new suburbia like 50 feet to the left of Riverdale.
What? This show is so this is nothing like the Archie I grew up on. Like, which is
no,
not at all. Like I'm like Rachel. Are you Team Jughead? Because we're Team Jughead here, just for the record.
Yes.
Okay, all right. You can stay. You can stay.
Oh,
You know what? I was going to mention Justice League, but you know we're getting at the 20-minute mark, so I'm going to worry about that another time because I'm actually planning a roundtable. We're going to talk about that movie when it comes out later. So, but let's do what's at comic shops. Each of us have a pick, and we're going to let Rachel go first. So here it is. Here's what's available at your local comic shop this week. All right. So no drinking. No, I'm just kidding.
The red pillow cut too, so suspicious. I'm like,
right.
Guys, nothing exciting. Just iced tea. No.
Johnny's definitely muted me while conversation's going from slurping in the background. So it's okay. I'm just messing with you. So Rachel, what is your pick this week? What are you looking forward to at your local comic shop?
Obviously, aside from my Deja cover,
Right.
shameless plug. I'm really excited for the X-Men Legends. I used to watch X-Men
Oh, nice.
a lot as a little girl, and my very first, it was like a Halloween costume, not necessarily cosplay. I mean, same, but was the Dark Phoenix. And I'm such a tiny little thing. I want to try to find the photo so I can do it then and now because I've done one all grown up too. So I want to do one of those side by sides, like baby Rachie cosplaying her, and then current day. But I'm super excited for it. There's a lot of really good things coming out though, and then I saw even on your guys' page the art books and the figures. I love figures. I collect a lot of Harley, and I collect a lot of the horror ones and the Batman. I obviously love Batman. But yeah, I'm super. There's a lot of really exciting things coming out. So.
Oh, cool. Actually, this is a good time to ask you a little bit more about Dynamite, right? So first of all, I'm also looking forward to X-Men Legends, and we're actually going to run a trailer for that later in the show. But so how did you get involved with Dynamite Comics in the first place? Because Dynamite is not your first cosplay cover. You've done previous ones before.
I've actually done even beauty and different like avant-garde fashion. Kind of done the whole like modeling thing for quite some time. I was even just a little, I think in 3rd grade when I first took my first modeling training. But Harley Quinn has always been my favorite character as far as like DC goes. And so that kind of like when Suicide Squad came out, I was dressing up just because I was excited, and then people saw it and then grabbed to it and wanted to hire me for it. But Dynamite has like, your Red Sonja, your core characters that have been around forever that everybody loves. Vampirella. Obviously, I'm obsessed with vampires. I've mentioned that I like horror and I like darker themes. Vampirella. What better vampire is there than Vampirella? Honestly, and then Deja Thors, I was actually just recently introduced to not that long ago. I think probably a year ago. But she's so beautiful and she's so strong and she's so, I'm all about women empowerment. And so all of their characters are extremely sexy and extremely strong and just like badass. So it's very empowering to cosplay it. And especially coming from someone like me who, I've always been super shy. used to get teased for by my family for being my mom's shadow. Like I wouldn't leave her side. I'm an only child. I was an army brat. We moved around a lot. So it's kind of funny for like someone who is so shy and is so like gets anxiety to be able to break out and you cosplay these strong badass characters and you kind of exude this confidence, like especially the Red Sonja cover. One of them, I've got this sassy little cocky pose where my chin's up and it's so unlike anything that I'm like really would ever do. I had to like coach myself, like what would she do or how would she present herself, because I'm very much in person more cheesecakey, I guess, which is why it's easy for me to be Harley Quinn. I'm just very pin-uppy and kind of loopy. So it's a little bit more of a challenge to like put yourself into these characters, but it's so amazing and it really does help you even with your own like confidence and your own I hate to be like girl power, but like girl power. I mean, it's definitely a time to celebrate women and you know, put forth like strong images and like strong characters and not be like a damsel that needs to be saving, but be like the one that's kicking butt, you know?
All right. Yeah. And you're representing some of the oldest ones. I mean, Deja Thoris is probably the oldest, and Red Sonja is like right behind her. So, like, I mean, like, yeah, those two alone are classics. Then you throw in Vampirella. There you go.
Red Sonja, I remember from when I was just a little tiny thing. But Deja Thoris, I was actually just introduced to, even though she's been around forever. I don't know. It was never something that I was introduced to until probably a little over a year ago. And as soon as I saw her, I'm like, this is amazing. She's beautiful. She's strong. She's all the things. And I was very nervous. You know, when you admire a character and you respect a character, it's always kind of nerve-wracking to bring them to life because you want to do them justice and you want the fans to be happy.
Yeah.
So I'm super stoked at how it came out. It's so pretty.
Oh, cool. You got one.
Ooh,
Nice.
You have one.
Awesome. Somebody visited their local comic shop already. I love it. Ashton, did you have any questions for Rachel?
Yeah, definitely. So I was wondering, which of the Dynamite characters that you've cosplayed did you like cosplaying the most? Like, do you have a favorite?
Ooh, that would have to be, honestly, I think it'd be Red Sonja. As much as I love vampires and as much as Vampirella is so dope and she's so sexy and you know, it's just fun to rock the fangs, especially for a little horror freak like me. But Red Sonja is, like I said, I remember her from when I was just a little girl and growing up with her and being such a, you know, she's just a sassy, kick-ass, like strong woman. The outfit's dope. I mean, her weapons are dope. I'd love to recreate the image where she's like holding the head. I mean, there's so many, but you know, I'd love to do some like really gruesome, like really brutal to show her just like, you know, raw. And again, it's just cool because it's like so completely unlike me, but it's fun to be able to play that character and like just you know, let's play pretend. Let's be a badass for a day.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely want to remind people that Dynamite #5 is in comic shops today, and you should definitely pick up those covers. And also, Rachel's on the cover of Vampirella Dark Powers and Red Sonja Superpowers, which you can also pick up from your local comic shop. And just ask your shop about them, see if they still have them on the shelf, and if not, tell them to reorder them and get yourself a copy. Ashton, what is your pick this week?
Okay, so my pick is Black Friday #1. This is from Scout Comics, and it's a 3-issue little mini-series. So it centers around Black Friday, which is, we all know, is this like crazy shopping experience, super Americanized, like bum rush of any sort of retail store. And so this book in particular focuses on the aftermath of that, and it centers around the cleaning crew that's kind of trying to clean up like your generic big box store after a Black Friday event. And so in cleaning it up, they kind of discover this like pent up negative energy that releases this like evil dark spirit into the retail store that kind of like runs amok. And in that happening, they find out that it's, quote, just what corporate wanted. So the solicit's kind of vague, but this jumped out at me for 3 reasons. One, the cover art's insane. Like, just that caught my attention right away. I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at. Is it a zombie? Is it a demon? But either way, it's dope. Yeah. 2, I used to work in retail, so I immediately was like, this nightmare can relate. And then 3, I think there's a lot of room here to make some sort of like really cool commentary on like corporate America or capitalism. I think you could say something neat here, so I hope that they capitalize on that. No pun intended.
Yeah. No, that is a gnarly cover. I'm very I think that's the only word to describe it as gnarly. Like, that is an interesting premise. Yeah, I have to check that out. And I'm with you. I actually made a point. I worked in retail once upon a time too, and I always made it a point to not work on Black Friday. So I think
that must have been nice.
Yeah, I might have actually quit.
I'm like, you made a point. How are you?
Well, I think. Well, these are during my college years, like, mind you. So I think I might have even done something as extreme as quit. So that's a strategy, I mean, you can do that. That's something you guys can do out there. My pick this week is actually American Ronin #5. I've talked about this book before in the show. It is actually really cool. I got a chance to talk to writer Peter Milligan about it for Mainframe Comic-Con a couple of months back. The basic premise is this guy is a corporate spy. The guy you see on the cover, he's a corporate spy. He uses empathy to destroy his enemies. And we're at a point now in the story where his empathic abilities, and it's really just sort of like an intuition. It's not even a superpower. It's just something that he's kind of like tuned into, where he can kind of like look at a person and kind of gauge. He does his background, of course, on top of that, but he kind of does. He kind of gauges their personality type, and from that, he's able to kind of break them down and get what he wants. But the problem is, what happens when that guy meets a narcissistic person who's devoid of empathy altogether? And so, yeah, that's kind of where the story is right now. This is the last issue, and I cannot point out enough. The artwork by ACO is phenomenal. It reminds me of J.H. Williams, if you guys are familiar with the Batwoman books back in the day, and Chris Ware, who actually did Acme Novelty Library. Those two are incredibly different from each other, but the artwork, like, it just reminds me of that, like this very structured maze-like interpretation of panels, and then on top of that, like, just this lush sweeping art style, which is more of the J.H. Williams thing. So definitely check that out. And I also want to point out, I did an interview with ACO called Got It Covered, where he did a cover breakdown for us a few months ago, so you can find that on PREVIEWSworld.com. So yeah, just slick. The art is amazing, the story's sharp, and I can't recommend it enough. So definitely pick up the last issue. And the trade paperback is coming around the corner too, so that's cool. Hey, so one of the things that's happening this week is the Hakes auction, right? And so here's a couple of items that are available this week that we're going to show you guys real quick. When we come back, I'll explain a little bit more about it. Check this out.
Hakes Auctions is the premier source for all manner of Americana and collectibles, and auction number 231 is now open for bidding. Here are some of the amazing items that you can find over at Hakes.com. Be sure to check out the full auction by visiting Hakes.com. Closing dates for items in auction 231 are February 24th to 25th. Hakes, America's first collectibles auction house.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, you got one more week, and then this auction is over. So definitely, as Johnny pointed out in the video, that was Johnny's voice, head on over to Hakes.com. As you saw, you could get Spider-Man. You could get, I think actually, I don't know if it was in this video, but like you can get the first appearance of Superman and a couple of other things. If you got money like that, hey, good for you. You can do that.
Right.
But it's not shut off to, like, the big spenders. There's also smaller items that you can also get at the Hakes auction. So definitely check that out because it closes next week. Actually, Johnny reminded me. We actually got some audience questions. Bad host, bad.
That's all right. You ever listen to your voice and just hate the sound of your own voice?
Every time.
Yes.
Every time I hear this play, I'm like, do I sound like that? Anywho,
Like when we used to pre-record Previews World, and then we would like live tweet it or whatever, and I would have to watch it and listen to myself talk. I'd be like, "This is the worst."
I get you. I totally understand.
I'm gonna start putting an auto-tune filter on all our voices.
Okay.
It'll sound like T-Pain. It'll be awesome.
Let's do
Anyway.
an auto-tune episode.
As Troy was saying, I want to hit back on some of the viewer comments. So Peter Gaspard said he's been into comics since the 1970s. Anytime there's a photo cover on a comic, it's a special treat.
Nice.
Even those photo collage covers by Jack Kirby and Neil Adams. So that's referencing Rachel's covers, the photo covers.
Right, cool.
Rich Frank was checking in saying, "What's good, everyone?"
What's up, Rich?
What's up, Rich?
In regard to the Riverdale, he said his daughter watches and saying that as a result, she has also started picking up trade paperbacks because of Riverdale.
Right. That's what we love to hear.
Yay!
And then he chimed in later also talking about Rachel's love of Harley, saying he's an Ivy fan.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I don't, why pick? Why choose?
There you go.
Oh.
I feel, given the current state of things, like if you're an Ivy fan, that makes you a default Harley fan. I think that's how that works, right?
That's true.
Right?
By association, yes.
By association. So
and
whatever.
then he redeemed himself by saying, we picked up some cosplay vamp covers.
Oh,
There we go.
All right.
all right.
I love Ivy, and especially with my red hair right now, I do a lot of Ivy. I even do a lot of casual Ivy just because, it's just every time I cosplay Ivy at a con, I inevitably just break character and act like myself. Then people are like, "You're like literally Harley." And I'm like, "No, I can do this. Trust me, I promise." And they're like, "You realize you're like doing the wrong character right now." Just because I'm just so naturally loopy. But I love mad love for Ivy, obviously. Harley or not, mad love for Ivy, mad love for Catwoman. Let's not forget her. She is dope, so sexy. And,
The OG.
Pfeiffer possibly coming back.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, love.
That's
love,
my favorite
love.
Catwoman. I'm actually excited. I know we're not really big on talking about DC, but I'm excited about some of these Batman books that are about to drop soon. So, actually, speaking of news, things that are happening this past week. Let's hit a news item. Ashton, this is a subject close, near and dear to your heart. Let's talk a little bit about the Bounty Hunter event that Marvel's doing for Star Wars. So we got some artwork here for you guys, and I wanted to just throw this out here. It's called War of the Bounty Hunters. It's an upcoming Star Wars crossover event. It will begin in May, and the event will kick off with War of the Bounty Hunters Alpha #1, written by one of your favorites, Ashton, Charles Soule, and from Undiscovered Country, and drawn by one of my favorites, Steve McNiven, who actually did Marvel's Civil War back in the day. The event will tie into Marvel's entire post-Star Wars Empire Strikes Back lineup, because right now they're in the aftermath of Empire Strikes Back. So it's going to tie into Dr. Aphra. It's going to tie into the Bounty Hunters book. It's going to tie into the Darth Vader's book. And that's all starting in May and throughout May. So definitely check that out. That's coming to you to a comic shop near you. Be sure to pre-order. We always want to hit that. We always want to tell you guys to pre-order. And someone pointed this out to me. It's something I forgot. Shadow of the Empire actually did this storyline. Like, this is a very similar to a story inside Shadow of the Empire from back in the day.
Really?
And like we've talked a little bit about like the extended universe in Star Wars, and like how certain things got replaced because of it. And now these things are legends, but it looks like they're massaging some of this stuff into Star Wars canon now. So yeah, and we saw Thrawn not too long ago, so they're going to work.
Yeah. Did Prince Shizor ever become canon, or does he just like live in my brain rent free as a thing to do?
That one I could not answer. Like, I'm not all caught up in the Star Wars comics, I have to admit. But I actually neither
am I. Like you always say, like you got to kind of pick and choose. So
yeah.
It's a lie. I'm not totally up on the Star Wars comics either. But I need if we got Grand Admiral Thrawn and Prince Shizor kind of goes by the wayside, I think that I'm gonna be personally offended by that.
I mean, I respect it. I respect that. I'm looking forward to this. Like, I think the last Star Wars book I read from beginning to end was maybe Kieran Gillen's Darth Vader, so it's been a while. So yeah, I'm all game for that. I want to see this happen. What else we got here going on this week?
Troy,
yeah.
If I may chime in there real quick, do we
What's
know
up?
much? Do we know anything about what the storyline is about? Because I'm just looking at the cover art that you sent over to me, and I can't tell whether or not that is actually Han Solo there behind Boba
If it's
Fett.
a prelude, and this is
Oh,
like
it is. Yeah.
in the Empire area, why would that not be Han Solo?
Yeah, that's
So
definitely Han Solo.
I mean, just looking at this, what I'd love to see from this, I know nothing about the story or where this comic is going, but this is just me, like the fanboy, hoping. I would love to see what happened after Boba Fett picked up frozen carbonite Han Solo from Cloud City, and then between there and getting him to Jabba's palace. Like, you know, there probably were some other bounty hunters there that heard about that and were trying to get him and take Han Solo's cold, lifeless body out of Boba Fett's hand. So my own
he
person,
wasn't lifeless. He was perfectly preserved.
okay.
Well, actually.
Okay, so the Han Solo popsicle. I'd like to know what happened to him. So I'm hoping that's where the story goes. I don't know, but that's just my own personal fanboy theory that I like to see.
Actually, so I was reading off the solicit because this news just dropped yesterday. But it says here, the epic story will see the entire galaxy from the rebellion to the Empire at war for the greatest prize of all, Han Solo. So there you go. So there you go. So that's a little something, a little teaser for you guys. And you can see more pages. We only showed you a few pages. You can see more pages up on our website. Go to PREVIEWSworld.com. It's right on the front page under What's New. And you can catch all the new items that are dropping and all the little news bits. Just go to PREVIEWSworld.com. What's New. We update it every single day. So there you go. So Rachel mentioned X-Men Legends earlier, and I'm very happy you did because I'm also looking forward to it. It's got all that great 90s-ness that we haven't gotten from the X-Men in a while, right? So we're going to show you guys a trailer, and when we come back, we'll geek out some more about it. How about that?
Awesome.
All right, that is X-Men Legends. I know a lot of people are looking forward to this. I know, look, we're right now in the middle of this giant Jonathan Hickman storyline where he's kind of reestablished what the X-Men are for a new generation, and is also retelling the X-Men's history. And I know some people love it. I'm one of those people. I love it, but there's some people who don't like it. And I kind of feel like this book is kind of for them, but also for us as well, who enjoying the Hickman story, because they're going to re-explain or actually provide more context for how this fits into the Hickman storylines, but also, leaning back into the stuff from the 90s. And also shout out to artist Brett Booth, because he's definitely giving me old school Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri vibes, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, X-Men Legends in comic shops this week. Rachel, do you have a favorite X-Man? Like, do you have a favorite X-Woman, hero or villain? Like, what is on your list?
I am so indecisive. I'm like the worst. Growing up, I've always loved Wolverine. I said I've done Dark Phoenix, Jean Grey, Dark Phoenix. Any Phoenix is super dope. She's so cool and powerful. I love Emma Frost. I also have done her. I mean, they're all just so cool. Gambit. I mean, everyone's so. I couldn't possibly just pick one. What is your favorite?
Oh God. I have a shirt in my closet that says Magneto was right. So I'm gonna go with Magneto.
Magneto's dope.
Magneto's dope. he's a complex character. I actually may or may not have gotten into it with someone in a message, no, not a message board, on the Facebook comment section about Magneto, because my whole thing is, I mean, because my whole thing is like they were complaining about a storyline where Magneto was being indecisive, or just kind of like, he wasn't being the Magneto that he's always been in continuity. I was like, look, Magneto's a giant contradiction. Like, he survived the Holocaust, but like he wants to eradicate humans. Like, he teams up with Charles. He doesn't team up with Charles. He hates Charles. They're the best friends. He's a giant contradiction. So I kind of find that interesting about him. You never quite know what you're going to get with him. So, and if anything, I'm curious to see, especially in light of the WandaVision thing, I'm curious to see how they're going to implement the X-Men. And are they going to do the thing where Wanda and Pietro are the kids, or are they going to stay clear of that now? Like, the multiverse just opens up so many things.
Well, I know
I'm very curious.
She did a nod to him with her pose in one of the last episodes. So there was a lot of speculation. So I mean, I think they might have been setting it up for that, or maybe they won't, but they at least set it up to where they can.
Yeah,
right. Get us talking.
No, absolutely. I kind of feel sometimes like these like Marvel Studios is just looking on Twitter to see what the best fan theory is, and then they're like, we're gonna do that one.
all in favor, vote aye.
Right. I kind of get that impression sometimes, because sometimes they nail it so perfectly. I'm like, that's a little too good. So okay. We didn't get Rachel's top 5. We didn't get Rachel's best X-Men. She was a little indecisive, but hopefully she can give us her top 5 next. Hopefully, I believe in you, Rachel. I think you can.
So do I. You got this.
So
the pressure.
So we're going to open it up to the top 5, which is our new segment. We bring on our guests, and they give us our top 5, and then we also feature some of your viewer responses. So I'm going to kick it over to Ashton. Let's go.
Okay, so as Troy said, we've asked you guys to tell us your top 5, whatever, top 5 heroes, villains, comic book arcs, you name it. As long as it's nerd related, we want to hear your top 5. So here's what you guys had to say. Aaron says top 5 Disney park mascots: Figment, Orange Bird, Hatbox Ghost, Abominable Snowman, and Mr. Toad.
Mr. Toad, okay.
Zach, my favorite is when people just give us a list and no category. So Zach says Batman the Brave and the Bold, Wolverine and the X-Men, Young Justice, Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and Justice League Unlimited. I'm imagining that's team-ups probably.
I think I'm assuming that's animated series.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on that. I'm pretty sure that's the animated shows.
Although I'm going to say this list is a little suspect, because you know what's not on here? Batman the Animated Series.
Okay. I feel like you have brought that up like the last 3 shows.
I probably have, but that's because Batman the Animated Series factors into everything, Ashton.
That's valid. Respect. Stacey says top 5 classic D&D monsters: Owlbear, Orc, Kobold, Gelatinous Cube, love that, and the Beholder.
I'm here for Owlbear and Gelatinous Cube. I have no idea what any of these things are, but
okay, hold on. You don't know what a Beholder is?
No, I don't do tabletop. Like, it's not.
I thought that's the big giant floating eyeball that has all the miniature stalks coming out of its head. That was kind of like little other eyeballs.
I have right over.
Even I knew that, and I think that thing is mega creepy.
That's very creepy. Moving on.
Rachel, are they speaking another language to you? Because they're talking another language to me right now.
I mean, some of these things I'm recognizing, and some of these things, I'm right there with you. I'm like,
Yeah, I feel like once we get in the tabletop, we hit peak geek. So it can't get any geekier than this. What's our last one?
Barbara says owning graphic novels, owning a sonic screwdriver, Doctor Who, being able to argue for and against the MCU and DCEU, and understanding and or using Linux.
Okay, a few of her favorite things. All right, Barbara.
Martin says B5, BSG, SW, ST, and DW acronyms. Yay!
So I'm unclear. I know what these are for. These are definitely TV shows or franchises, but I'm curious if this is just Martin's top 5 acronyms or top 5 franchises. I'm uncertain. But
I hope it's top 5 acronyms.
I gotta jump in here, Troy, because I can figure out all of them but 5. I know 4 is Battlestar Galactica, then Star Wars and Star Trek and Doctor Who, but what is B5?
I
Babylon.
actually don't know either.
Babylon 5.
Oh.
Oh, Circle does not get the square on that one.
there you go. I said tabletop was going to get us peak geek, but I just blew the doors off. So there you go. One more.
Okay, Franz Gam says Silver Surfer, Black Adam, Superman, Captain America, One Punch Man.
Okay, I'm wondering. See, okay, if you're watching, tell me what that is. Is that your most powerful characters? Because those are some heavy hitters. But I'm not sure.
That
Or
makes
maybe
sense.
maybe just his favorite. I don't know. Although Captain America, I don't know if Captain America really could be in the same argument with these other characters, but we'll see. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God. I feel
Anyway.
like that was a hot take. Not one that I care about, but I think that might bother someone else.
I am Team Cap, but I don't think that he's going to stand a chance against Silver Surfer.
Do you know what my problem with Captain America is that like I've reached this is not bad. My problem my
You be
issue
very
with Captain
careful.
No,
I'm gonna start.
my issue with Captain America is like in my mind I'm like I've reached an area where like Chris Evans is just like morphed with Captain America to become one being, and I can't separate them anymore. So obviously I'm like Chris Evans can do anything he wants to do, but that might not be true of Captain America.
Okay. No. I mean, I can feel that. Like, he's kind of pitch perfect. Actually, I just saw that John Krasinski is this rumor that he might be Reed Richards. He was supposed to be Captain America. Actually,
I saw that too.
Yeah. So, and I can't envision it. Like, Rachel, can you envision that? Like, John Krasinski is Captain America now?
Oh, it's Captain America.
No, I can't. No, he's
No.
so perfect. Chris is so perfect. Like, how can you envision anyone else?
You're
I
right.
mean, I can see why they would have been considering him, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's so perfectly casted that like it's crazy. It's like Michelle Pfeiffer and Catwoman for me. Like Michelle Pfeiffer will always be Catwoman to me.
Yeah. No, see, a respectable response. I love it. And like, unlike this questionable direction that Ashton took us when she was like, my problem with Captain America is.
Yeah, the way I started that, I was like, that's not what I meant, but I'm going to keep pushing.
I was like, you better watch it, Ashton. They're
I
gonna
don't
be like,
have a problem with Captain America. The issue is I can't separate Captain America as a superhero from Chris Evans, the delightful human being.
I think that's why it works. I think they might be more synonymous than we might know. But Rachel, what is your top 5? Like, lay it on us. What are your 5 top nerd anythings?
Well, okay, so I was gonna do movies, but then, as I mentioned, I'm so indecisive, and I was going back and forth, and I was like scratching things off. And I was like, but what about this? But I need more slots. I don't know. So then I was like, okay, and then I was like thinking maybe I'll just do villains, or maybe I'll just do only Batman characters, or maybe I'll just do like I was trying to subcategorize to make it easier for myself. It just wasn't working. So then I thought, why not do my favorite cosplays? Because I know I cosplay a lot of characters, and some are more my favorite characters, but some I don't like cosplaying as much, if that makes any sense. Because I can love the character, but maybe not fit into it, or it might not be as easy to conform to that. Or the costume was just super uncomfortable.
Sure.
So lots of factors that go into it. But I was like, there's no doubt about what you enjoy doing most and what the people like to see you doing, and all of that stuff. So I said, let me do my top 5 cosplays. Sorry, I was so distracted. I was like, my phone was trying to tell me it was dying. I'm like, Mom, grab my external battery so I could charge it while I'm doing this. So anyways, I would obviously have to start with, I'm sure you guys can guess. Drum roll, please.
Okay, cool.
So, as I mentioned, I love her so much, especially, growing up with the animated series, like you had mentioned. She's so lovable. I identify with her a lot. On certain levels. I like Geppi.
Yeah, I was about to say, thank you for clarifying.
An important distinction.
Yeah, I love Bombshell. Harley. I love all the DC bombshells that they did. All the statues are super cute, and the comics were super adorable. But yeah, she's just really fun. I identify more with the mischievous, fun, cute, kind of goofy version versus the like, you know, want to hurt somebody kind of version. So unless you know, upset me, so in which case, no, I'm just kidding.
Then the real Harley comes out.
So yeah, she's always come natural to me, and also she's what opened up all of the opportunities for me to work conventions and travel and you know, get paid to dress up, which is like a dream come true. So obviously have to love Harley. And then I mean, obviously my very first comic book cover was Vampirella. So that is always going to have like a huge place in my heart. And obviously, like I said, I love anything dark, anything, you know, with vampires or fangs, which Leonardo Caballero makes my fangs, and they're so legit. I no longer have to mess around with like the cheapy ones you get from the Halloween stores that fall out after an hour.
Right. I always end up chewing those more than anything.
Yeah, you're always afraid you're just gonna end up swallowing it. It's like
right.
Business. So I love my new fangs. I actually want them to make me a couple other sets, you know, for different characters, like Toga for my hero, or you know, Celine from Underworld. But that's a whole nother thing. And so next I would say, oh well, I mean, well, yeah, I'd have to say Red Sonja next, because Vampirella being my very first Dynamite cover is, you know, it's got to count for something. It's got to move itself up a little bit higher.
Right.
Respect.
But Red Sonja, like I said, just, you know, admiring her as a little girl and looking up to such an amazing, powerful, badass, beautiful woman, warrior. It's just so cool. So for me to be able to actually be on a cover as someone I looked up to and grew up with is like insane. It's just on cloud nine. And then I don't know if we do anime on this show as well. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was like, or is that like a subcategory? Because I've got other regular ones. But I love Misa from Death Note, which is kind of also one of my givens, where I'm just literally I'm myself, and people are like, "Oh my God, you're the perfect Misa," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, thanks." So I'm like nodding my head. I'm like, I'm not even doing it right now. And she also has a lot of similarities to Harley, you know, kind of cute, crazy, delusional blonde, just very chipper, very fun, very lovable. And the pigtails, of course, which I was going to do if I had time, but I didn't, so we'll just pretend. Yeah, that was at Anime Expo, so fun. I miss the cons.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I'm fiending for him, but I know it's important to wait till we can do it safely. But I'm just like dying to get back out there. And then coming in fifth, which was hard because I was like, ooh, do I do? You know, I was kind of going through. I didn't name any like, you know, of my little Spider-Man cosplays. I didn't do an X-Men. I'm like, what way do I go? But honestly, with the new Cruella movie coming out, I just watched the trailer. They just dropped the new trailer, an actual trailer. And I've done her for D23, I think like 3 years ago. I've done her for a couple WonderCons. I've done her for a couple group shoots. She is just so fun. It is. And I went back and forth too. Like, do I want to be a princess? Do I want to be the Little Mermaid? Or do I want to be Cruella? I mean, I do all of them, but I was like trying to figure out who to pick for my number 5 slot. But she is just so, I love how extravagant and bougie she is. She's just like, so and she's like such a wicked witch, but like in such a like cute way. So it was like, I didn't think the kids would love me as much. Like I did Ariel before. Yeah, I did Ariel the year before for WonderCon, and then that next year I did Cruella, and I feel like I thought, oh, nobody's gonna love the villain as much. Maybe like maybe the guys might, or like maybe cosplay, or some of the older crowd, but the kids loved her. And then even I worked Dapper Day at Disney, and the kids were losing their mind. And it's just fun because you kind of get to be, you're like, again, coming from being such a well-mannered, polite little lady that my mom raised, but you're like busting through the crowd. You're like, all right, movement coming through, and you get to
I love that.
Yeah, and as long as you end it with darling, they're like, oh, it's just Cruella.
It's fine.
Like,
Right.
like she's just a character, it's just doing what she's supposed to do. But she is one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite villains. It's always fun to play the bad guy. Cute Billie Eilish. But the new trailer with Emma Stone is like, it looks so dope. I'm so amped for it. And I hadn't really seen any other Cruellas ever. So that was kind of cool because I think people get amped up to see something, coming from someone who does Harley, where when Suicide Squad came out, everywhere you looked, it was your flood of Harleys. To do something a little more obscure that no one really ever sees, and also to do like different variants, because I've done a couple looks for her, and I'm excited to create even more, especially leading up to the movie. Just different, my own personal looks, and then some art that I really love, like Hayden's art is always so gorgeous and couture. And with her, because she is high fashion, like you really have the freedom to do these beautiful, outrageous like looks that normally you don't get a chance to do. Like I love the feathers and all the prints and and again,
I think
it's just fun.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, I didn't even know they were making this, so that's actually kind of neat. Yeah.
Oh,
really?
Yeah,
I had no idea.
I think Emma Stone is such a perfect cast for it.
Oh
Yeah. She's
100%.
definitely got the
I love
voice
Emma
for it.
Stone, so I'm so stoked to see her bring this character to life. I don't know if you saw the trailer yet, but it is really good. It's going to be so amazing. I'm like, I'm so giddy.
Yeah.
So
No, that's a good.
she
That's
was
good casting.
like teetering on my list, and then I saw that this morning. I was like, all right, Cruella.
Stamp.
Sold.
Certified.
So funny because the kids were not scared. The kids loved her. They're running up. They're like, love her to death. And even when you don't want to be too mean because they're kids. They won't, you don't know if they'll understand it. But even this little boy had his puppy, and do you have puppies at home? Oh, you do? And I'm like, teasing him. And I'm like, oh, do you think he would want to come over to my house? And he's like, yeah. Adults are like, oh my God, what is she doing?
Right.
And the kid just loves me so much. He's about ready to give Cruella his dog. I'm like, oh.
The poor kid.
Thank God I'm just kidding.
There you go.
Fun person to play to kind of get in character with.
That's pretty good. I think that's my favorite cosplay of yours now, the Cruella one. That's actually a really cool one.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to you. Shout out to you.
Thank you. I'm gonna boo Instagram. They just took down one of my latest posts that I had posted like 2 weeks ago from Mike Shooter that was so amazing. But because I had the cigarette holder in my hand, it did really good too. It was one of my higher ranking, like people really loved it. And they took it down because of use of tobacco.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
They have a guideline. I'm like, you guys have like whole entire pages dedicated to smoking products.
Yeah.
I'm Cruella with a fake. It's not even real, with a fake cigarette holder in my hand, and they took it down. So,
Boo.
yeah. But I will be posting lots more Cruella. I have a lot of beautiful shots from that shoot and another one that I can't wait to share.
All right, looking forward to it. That's very cool. So we're getting down to it. Actually, it is 5 o'clock. Wow, we actually did a solid hour. Look at that.
I'm chatty, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's totally fine. This is the place where we talk about our nerd passion. So if you're passionate about it, we want to hear it. That's all that matters. I'm going to skip the weekly poll this week. I don't even know if we have one. Do we have one this week?
We did, yes. It's what weird and dysfunctional small towns you want to live in between Riverdale and Westview. So if you have feelings, head over to the Day Twitter page.
You know what? I'll tell you what. We'll hit that one next week because I think that's great. All right. So what is the comic shop shout out this week, Ashton?
This week's comic shop shout out goes to Infinity Flux in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and it comes from Bumpkins, which is hilarious. If you want us to shout out your comic shop, find us on social media, tag your shop if they have a handle, if not, just leave their name, and use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. We will find your post, we will find your shop, we will shout them out and give them love.
All right, okay. And actually, I want to give them a little bit more of a shout, a little bit more love. I love that one of the images that I sent Johnny was their 2020 wishes board, and like it was really neat because like all their page.
Okay, bye, Troy.
Oh no.
I'll take over from here. So until Troy comes back, and then I can touch on this because Infinity Flux, they have this wishes board outside of their store, and it was just basically showing some of the things that people wish for in like the coming year. So it had a lot of really nice things on here that people were going through and saying that they want to. Let me see if I can get a close up of the shot. Give me 1 second here. Here we go. So, for instance, some people are in here read more comics and play more games, make a zine, make more art, paint all my minis, pay off credit card debt. For Disney to stop buying everything was at the very top. I thought that was pretty. Have a baby. And let me see. There was another image I have here where I scroll down because there was something that someone wrote that it just made me laugh out loud. This is at the bottom. Count your blessings, kitty cats, make the best of life, get a fulfilling job, and in that bottom right, more cheese.
I mean, yeah, that is a valid thing to wish for.
So get another promotion, grow in my faith, and more cheese.
Important.
Yeah.
So it looks like Troy has left us. I think
That's pretty rude.
Yeah, I mean, this show's just about coming to an end, but
My camera's like suddenly super blurry too, so let's wrap this mess up.
Let's before anything else happens, before we have any more other problems with Rachel's non-existent audio, I just want to let people know that we do have a big Todd McFarlane announcement that was going to be made. We're going to have an interview, a live stream done with him on Monday. So stay tuned to the social media for Previews World, Free Comic Book Day, and everything for that. Also, be sure to check out the PREVIEWSworld.com section, their webpage. There is a Black History Month section with a bunch of great articles and whatnot in there, so you can find out about some Black creators, artists, writers, and whatnot. So I think that pretty much does it for this week's episode of Previews World Weekly. Rachel, I want to say thank you so much on behalf of Troy, who's not here, to say thank you for taking the time to talk to us about your hobbies, your passion, your nerddom, your cosplay, and everything in between.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun. I'm so honored. Definitely really enjoyed myself, and yeah, thank you. Love you guys.
And just as a reminder, one more time, if anyone would like to follow you, give them a shout out, or one more time too, where people can follow you online.
Absolutely. I am most active on my Instagram, and that is faces, like in your face. Faces, all of them, by Rachie, Rachie. I also started a Disney specific page that I'll be building up this year, which is Disney by Rachie. And I'm working on that TikTok, which actually we went viral on my friend Steph's page, but it keeps getting taken down. So anyways, you can find some videos on my page, which is also Faces by Rachie, and we will be adding a lot more to that this year as well. So yeah, thank you so much for having me. Please, come support, show some love.
All right. I don't know can you guys hear me again? Am I back
you're
here?
back.
Okay, cool. Sorry, my tablet died. I didn't realize it was going to die that fast. It told me I had 7 minutes, and then decided to tap out at the fourth minute.
LOL.
That's why I was like, Mom, get the external battery.
Right. Exactly. Okay, my tablet's probably a little too old for this world, so it probably needs to be taken into the desert. Taken into the desert and shot in the head, probably, but that's okay. That's a whole nother story. All right, guys, thank you very much, Rachel. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you hanging with us for this whole hour, talking comics and whatnot. I want to remind people to not only like, follow, and subscribe to Rachel, but also like, follow, and subscribe to Previews World as well. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, and Free Comic Book Day as well is now on TikTok, so you can follow us there as well. So definitely check that out. Also, I want to tease the fact that we have a Todd McFarlane interview coming up on Monday.
That's right. We already.
Johnny already did.
Oh, you already did that. Okay, all right. But yeah, special announcement. Can't tell you what it is, but it is coming. Definitely check that out. Also, check out our Black History Month section.
Yeah, Johnny already
He
did
also
that
did
too.
that.
You did that too? Okay. You read my outline. Damn it, Johnny. Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's it then. Rachel, thank you very much for joining us. Ashton, as always, guys, I'm Troy Jeffrey Allen. Ashton, say
I'm
goodbye.
Ashton Greenwood.
And hey, we'll see you at the spinner rack. Why not? Bye.
Don't forget that you can catch Previews World Weekly streaming live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific at Previews World on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.